So we just lost to Guatemala. That actually happened. No CONCACAF BS, no format screwing us, no extenuating circumstances. We actually just straight up went out and lost to Guatemala. There are games that make you have to rethink everything, and this was one of those games. There's no excuses for this one. Canada saw this Gold Cup. We sent as full of a squad as we could have, with the exceptions of injuries and the Club World Cup. And we were one of the favorites to win it. The US did not send a full squad, Mexico did. So really, we were going into this tournament thinking the only real significant competition for us to actually challenge to win this thing was Mexico. And I think everyone believed it. It was a given almost that Canada was going to make at least the semifinals. I mean, losing in the semifinals would have been a disappointment. The goal for this team, all the way from the players out to the fans, was that Canada was going to win this Gold Cup. This Canadian generation, which has accomplished so much, which has been the best we've ever had, supposedly, was finally going to win a trophy. And instead we get knocked in the quarterfinals in the 4th out of 5 Gold Cups since Alphonso Davies made his Canada debut. And this time it was to Guatemala, a team ranked 106th in the FIFA rankings. That's 76 spots below us. And people are gonna say, oh, the Schaffelberg red card. The Schaffelberg red card doesn't matter. We were 76 spots ahead of them in the FIFA rankings. The teams surrounding us are Serbia and Wales. The teams surrounding them are the Comoros and Tanzania. Up a goal, down a man with just a half to play, you 100% with that gap in FIFA rankings should be able to win that game. You shouldn't even really be on the back foot with that much supposed difference between the teams. But no, we got absolutely outplayed in that second half, and then, yeah, there were some bad tactical decisions by Jesse Marsch. I mean, yeah, the bench was short, but subbing on Jefferson when Buchanan needed to come off when you already have 2 strikers on the pitch, when you're down a man and up a goal, is a mind-boggling decision. Like, at that point, you should be putting on as many defenders as you have, not more strikers. But then even going from there, we can't even blame the format with CONCACAF going straight to penalties, because, well, yes, that usually benefits the smaller teams. We were on the back foot for the entire second half. We were down a guy. With extra time, Guatemala would have been at the advantage. And it's ridiculous because that shouldn't have happened. And so we're at a spot now where it's time to reevaluate and ask, are we really even that good? Because this is yet another Gold Cup where we're knocked out in the quarterfinals. We want to say we're too good for CONCACAF. This is our last 5 Gold Cups. Now this is the US and Mexico's last 5 Gold Cups. And we want to say we're in the same stratosphere day in, day out as the USA and Mexico. The US, with nowhere close to their first team, is in the semifinals of this tournament. Yeah, and they took penalties to beat Costa Rica, but Costa Rica is A, better than Guatemala, and B, they beat a team that had Keylor Navas in net on penalties with their B team. And we want to go out there and say, oh, we're just as good as them. I don't know if it's a mentality thing or a coaching thing or a culture thing, but basically every time this team goes out to the Gold Cup, they underperform. And I know people are going to say, oh, well, the Copa America proved that we can do good in tournaments. But did it really? Because looking back on it, at the Copa America, yeah, we didn't choke, but we didn't overperform. Like, look at our group. Chile and Peru are now sitting last and second last in the South American World Cup qualifiers, and Venezuela, who we beat in the quarters on penalties, is sitting 7th. So was the Copa America really a showcase of how good Canada is and a showcase that this team can perform in tournament competitions? Or did we just get lucky and quite literally play 3 of the 4 worst teams in South America and lose anytime we had to play a team that is in a current World Cup spot? And then people want to talk about how we're one of the best teams in CONCACAF and how we should be resting our full squad and not sending everyone to the Gold Cup. And it's like, we haven't won anything. This generation hasn't won anything. Why are we acting like the US and Mexico when we very clearly aren't? And this time was supposed to be different because, yeah, 2021 we had a decent team, and that was the only time where we really had a proper Gold Cup run where we didn't lose a match we weren't supposed to. Removing everything about this Guatemala game. And again, people are going to say, oh, Shackelberg took that bad red card. It's not about the red card. We drew Curacao literally a week ago. There was no red card then. They just did that. So I don't want to hear anyone hide behind the Shackelberg red card and say, oh, one player did a dumb decision and that cost us everything, because that shouldn't have mattered. And we can't even go and argue that we were playing a rotated squad, because we straight up weren't. Yeah, we have injuries that took away Bombito, and Estacio was at the Club World Cup, and Davies was injured, and even if he wasn't injured, he would have been at the Club World Cup. But those were situations that impacted everyone. We sent the best team we possibly could have to this Gold Cup, and the result was exactly the same as 2 years ago when we didn't. So I'm sick and tired of hearing people say that we can act like one of the big boys in CONCACAF, because we've proven once again that we aren't. And so until we actually win something, we need to stop acting like a team that thinks they're superior. And it's so frustrating, because like every time this team has played the United States, they've looked incredible, because for some reason they step up and they show up against the US. And it's just become a regular trend now, where drawing Guatemala last Gold Cup, losing to Guatemala this Gold Cup, drawing to Curacao this Gold Cup. It's almost like they underestimate the smaller CONCACAF teams, and they don't care, and they run into trouble. And it's like, if you're one of the best teams, that doesn't happen. And you clearly are good, because you perform well against Mexico, you beat the US regularly, but you can't consider yourselves to be in that same stratosphere, regardless of how good you play against those teams, if you can't win consistently against the minnows. And the US and Mexico, they both consistently win against the minnows. And now our next tournament is the World Cup in 2026. We're not going to have a chance to win another trophy until the 2026-2027 Nations League and the 2027 Gold Cup. Let's be real here, we're not in contention to win a World Cup. And the World Cup rightfully is the goal, but at the end of the day, you want silverware. And yeah, Canada soccer has made great strides with this generation, and this team has made great strides with this generation. I'm sure they're happy to say that we were competitive and consistently one of the best teams in the region for a better part of a decade with this generation, but if you don't have any silverware to show for it, what's the point? So the lesson that has to be learned is just no underestimating. If you play every game regardless of who the opponent is, like you're playing the United States, this Canada team will do very, very, very well in basically any competition they play in. Just no more underestimating. That's all I ask for, because quite literally every single Gold Cup right now is ending with us underestimating and getting bidden for it. And one more thing, I gotta talk about Kyle Larin, because everyone is upset at Kyle Larin. Why is Kyle Larin still on the team and all this nonsense? Kyle Larin led his La Liga team in scoring last season. He was joint lead goal scorer for the La Liga team Mallorca, which finished 10th mid-table in the league with 7 goals. That's 2 less goals than Mikel Oyarzabal scored for Real Sociedad, who finished 1 spot below Mallorca. Oyarzabal is on Spain, so you're really telling me that a guy who had 2 less goals in a La Liga season and led a team that finished higher in the standings than Oyarzabal can't play for Canada, but Oyarzabal can play for Spain. And at one point he was our all-time leading goal scorer, and his incredible 2021 run basically qualified us for a World Cup. Kyle Larin is a Canadian hero, and people are just endlessly dumping on him right now. Yeah, he missed the penalty yesterday, and yeah, like, he has fallen off a little bit. But to say that he doesn't even belong anywhere near the Canada squad is frankly ridiculous. He 100% should be here. We're overrating the youth a little bit in saying that he shouldn't. But I think the way that people act around Larin is a part of the bigger issue in which people think that we're better than we are without having any receipts to prove it. So again, it all bubbles down to the same thing. This team hasn't won anything. Stop acting like they have. So that's it for this video. As always, if you want to hit like, if you want to see more stuff, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter. Link is down below in the description, and I will see you next time.